Once upon a time, we shared with you our picks for the ultimate fountain pen recommendations that each of us had, but through the lens of customer-facing roles within the company. Today, though, we're all gonna be putting on our fountain pen nerd hats and sharing with you our personal favorite fountain pens. Now, the only caveat is that we are selecting pens that we currently carry here at the Goulet Pen Company so that you can have an easy time checking them out and buying them if you want to. Other than that one restriction though, it's just about what our personal favorites happen to be. Now last time, since we only have a few customer facing roles at the company, we had to limit things to the customer care department, myself and Brian Goulet. Now though, we're gonna try to branch it out a little bit and talk to a multitude of folks throughout the team. All right, for my favorite pen, it was tough, obviously, because I like pens a lot, but I asked myself, I was like, Drew, which pen do you have the most fun writing with? Which one gets you the most excited? And the writing experience that I get most excited about is writing with the Pilot Custom 912 with the FA nib. Now, it's a plain black pen, so I know it doesn't look super exciting, but it's got those nice flat ends, it's got a really cool clip, and it's not the standard Pilot clip with the funky ball at the end. It's that cool sword clip. I dig that. I think it has a beautiful profile. It's a classic look, and you don't get tired of it either. That's the thing about black pens. You're not gonna get sick of it. You're like, oh, that's obnoxious. You know, it's not gonna ever be amazing, but it's never gonna be terrible and annoying either. So, you know, that counts. So the FA nib is a bouncy nib. It has a little bit of flex to it. I will say that the Pilot Falcon seems to write a little bit more consistently for me anyway, but that doesn't matter. I still like the 912. I love the way that nib looks. I love the way it writes. I love how it makes me take my time and write very intentionally. It makes me think about my strokes, and I feel really connected to the writing experience when I use that pen. And I love that. Now, I don't talk about the 912 a lot. You know, I've thought about doing the E95S or the 2000 or the Vanishing Point, but really, this is it. I thought about it long and hard, and this pen just gets me really excited, and it's so much fun to write with. So that's my pick, is the Pilot 912. Let's hear from Brian Goulet, shall we? Brian.
Thanks, Drew. You know me, I absolutely love going through all the thousands of pens that I've used and narrowing it down to one choice. Super easy. No, I'm just kidding. But I've got probably 10 pens in mind that I could choose. But if I gotta be honest with you, probably the one that is my favorite, at least for right now or in this kind of period of my life here, it would have to be probably the Lamy 2000. I feel like you could probably have a bingo card that's saying how many times Brian's gonna say Lamy 2000 or a Custom 74, or guess what, I like blue. But I mean, things that I love about the Lamy 2000, at least as I've been using it recently. First off, I've been using the pen for over a decade. I have it in several different nib sizes. It's a really reliable pen. And it's one that, because it's got that hooded or that semi-hooded nib, it's just, the ink is always ready to go. And as I'm traveling, I'm splitting my time in this COVID days that we're in between home and work, and I'm driving and I'm carrying stuff around, and you know, sometimes going to like work conferences and stuff like that. You know, it's a pen that I can pretty much just not have to think about a whole lot as long as it's got ink in there. I like the ink capacity, so even if I go to a multi-day work conference or I'm traveling somewhere, it holds enough ink that I don't really have to think that much about backup ink and backup pens and stuff like that. It's generally just pretty rugged, so I like that aspect of it. It's a really nice pen, but it doesn't look like it's a really nice pen necessarily, so I'm not so worried about, you know, if I leave it sitting out, is somebody going to steal it thinking it's valuable or that kind of thing, or if my kids are messing around with it, you know, and it drops off a table, I'm really not worried about it getting scratched or anything like that. So, I mean, to me, it just balances a really good, you know, place between being a nice pen, and it's certainly like a next level pen, but it's not so nice and so expensive that I'm going to be worried about it all the time. So it really just threads that needle pretty well, and it's been essentially just a pretty well tested, tried and true performer for me. So no shocker, Lamy 2000, generally with a fine nib, but I like all the nib sizes.
My favorite fountain pen at the moment is the Benu Briolette in Luminous Orchid. It's a very, very shiny, sparkly, beautiful pen. This lighting in here is actually really great for it. Has these nice silver sparkles, and the outside has these facet cuts like a gemstone. So it's really interesting to look at. I find myself reaching for it more often than like any other pen in my pen case. It is just really, really cool to look at, and it's really good to write with too. Every time I ink it up, it surprises me. It's very consistent, and it's also just really easy to clean and maintain, and it's just quite a delight. The little light purple ends glow in the dark. So just when you thought it couldn't get any cooler, it does.
So for my favorite pen, I would say is probably going to be the TWSBI Eco. One reason being that it is so cost efficient. You know, it's very reasonably priced, especially for how nice of a pen it is and how long it can last you. You can honestly keep it inked up for however long you want, and it's probably going to still write whenever you uncap it. Personally, I've never had an issue with it hard starting or anything like that, so to love that about it. Plus, you ever break something on it, or it drops and something happens to fall or anything like that, and break apart, you can contact TWSBI. They'll get you a part usually, and you can replace it and just fix your pen right up. Don't have to buy a whole new pen like with some other pens, which is usually really unfortunate, especially if the pen has sentimental value to you or anything like that. It honestly is just a great writer, especially for the price, like I mentioned. It writes fantastically, probably one of the best writers that I have in my pen library, if you will. Can pick it up and write with it anytime. It's never gonna fail on me. One that I really like is the the mint blue one. It's like one of like my favorite colors. So honestly, that was like the first one I bought. Really love it. It's an Eco T, but obviously both, you know, pretty similar pen, pretty much the same other than the cap and the piston knob. The other part about the Eco that's really cool that a lot of people like is the fact that it's a demonstrator. You can see how much ink you have in there. You always know when you're going to run out, when you need a refill, when you might need to clean. So that's always really helpful as well.
My favorite pen would be the TWSBI VAX 700R. I love especially the feel compared to a lot of other TWSBI pens. This one's super solid. It definitely feels extremely robust in the hand. Going from clip to butt, the clip is excellent. It's got that deep carry in it, and I carry my pens either in my shirt or in my pocket, my pants pocket, and this one lays all the way down there, so no risk of it popping out and jumping away from me. The nibs are amazing. The feed on the VAX 700R is different than all the other feeds that TWSBI does, and it delivers a perfect amount of ink. In this one was a broad, and I've got a very special fine nib in there now, but that one puts down so much ink. This one's a regular, the iris and fine, and it's just the most consistent writer, especially once you pop it open to allow the ink to flow into your feed. It's the right size for me unposted. It's a little wandish when posted, but yeah, pretty much the perfect TWSBI for me. The only thing that I would change, and Drew doesn't like this either, is the step. Drew no likey step.
No.
So, yeah, that's my favorite pen. This one was the first one that I got. This one was in a broad, and I took the Pineider 14 karat quill nib out of my La Grande Bellezza red rhodolite, and I put it in here, and it writes like a dream. This is how to turn a $60 pen into a $280 pen. So yeah, that's my favorite, but you can't get one of these. This is definitely the best TWSBI in my opinion.
My favorite fountain pen is the Sailor Pro Gear. One of the reasons I love this fountain pen so much is because it's the perfect size, posted or unposted. I like to hold the cap in my hand so I don't lose it. So having an unposted pen is nice, but if I do post it, it doesn't get too heavy, it's not back weighted, and it's not too long. Having smaller hands, that's a real plus. I also love the medium fine nib. Sailor has perfected having something between a fine and a medium, and it's a really smooth writing experience that works on a lot of different kinds of paper. I actually take my Pro Gear with me in my purse a lot, so it's always ready to go. And finally, of course, like all Sailor pens, it's got that beautiful gold nib. It gives a smoother writing experience, but it's not got any bounce or flex to it in my opinion, so it's still a little bit more on the sturdy side, so you don't have to worry if you're pressing maybe a little harder if you come from the death grip, as we call it. You can use cartridges or, of course, the Sailor converter and use any ink that's the word, use any ink. And so I think it's a great pen. You should definitely add it to your collection. Well, my personal favorite is part of the Sailor Jenn cocktail collection, and it's the Martini. The Martini actually means quite a bit to me because it was one of my grandfather's favorite drinks, and when I saw Sailor had the cocktail collection with the Martini, I knew I had to have it. It's a beautiful white pen with just some classic olive green accents, and the red finial is just brilliant. I love it.
Hey guys, my favorite pen is well, it's really hard. I asked Drew if I could film like 20 of these videos so that I could just keep promoting pens because I just love all of my pens. But the one I chose is the TWSBI 580 ALR. And I just specifically chose that one for a few reasons, but mainly the R is a big part of it for me. I love this, and I know that's very, polarizing. Like some people hate it and they want to die when they hear it, but I'm just like, la, 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 la. So I love that part of it, but also it's gorgeous. Prussian blue is absolutely one of my favorite colors to come out of any brand for a long time. And I love the demonstrator aspect of it. I write almost exclusively with shimmer inks. Ask any of my coworkers. So being able to see the ink slosh around in the shimmer and when it's settled on one side and you can flip it around and get it all swimming in there and you get to watch it. It's like art that I also have an excuse to use as a tool. So it's very cool and helps me justify buying more pens. And then I think probably the last thing is that I love that I can change out the nib. I usually gravitate towards broad and stub nibs, but it's fun to be like, well, I can just buy an extra fine and see if I like writing with a needle. I don't. But it does give me the option, or I can have them on hand if I want someone to try it out and they're like, this is writing like a marker. And I'm like, oh, you're one of those people. And I can give them something different to try. So those are my reasons why I think everyone should have at least 580s.
That's our list. I hope you enjoyed that. And now I have a question for you, and you totally know what it's going to be. What's your favorite fountain pen? I truly want to know. And you don't have to limit it to one we carry at the store, obviously. But we do hope that you enjoyed talking with some of our pen friends, some of the people that I am very, very fortunate to work with every day. If you would like to see more videos, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Engage with us, talk to us, or just keep coming back. Either way, we appreciate your time. We hope you have fun, and write on.